a little bit about my journey, um, a little bit about my journey in the aerospace industry, and also to encourage young students to get into aerospace. So a little bit about me. I have graduated last year from my bachelor's in mechanical engineering. So I chose mechanical engineering in my bachelor's and my undergraduate studies because it's a broader range. Because aerospace, I would say, is a bit more concentrated. So if you study mechanical engineering in the beginning, then you have like a broader range of knowledge for how things actually work. So and then I decided to concentrate into aerospace industry, and that's why I decided to plan to pursue my master's at Concordia University in Montreal. And alongside that, I'm also taking some pilot training. Uh, seemed like a very cool thing to do at Carg Air Flight Academy. And also, I'm working at an aerospace company. It's called Pratt and Whitney Canada as an intern. So, what the company does is it makes aircraft engines, all sorts of aircraft engines. So, you see Boeing planes, Bombardier planes. So, all these planes have multiple engines, and Pratt and Whitney makes some of these engines. And they also make engines for military aviation planes too. Yeah. So next, I would like to focus on how to get into aerospace, right? So if you want to start your studies, if you want to start your undergraduate in aerospace industry specifically, then there are a few universities in Canada which offer aerospace engineering. And so here you can see like there is Carleton University, and it's a Bachelor of Engineering. That's the name of the program, and it's going to be in aerospace engineering. Concordia also provides it, and there is a French university. This one is completely in French, École Polytechnique, and we have this Royal Military College of Canada, and it will be in aeronautical. We have Toronto Metropolitan University too, and then we have University of Toronto, but it's probably going to be it's not going to be like an aerospace degree. It's going to be an engineering science degree, but with a concentration in aerospace. So it's probably going to be a major in aerospace, something like that. A lot of universities actually provide that. So if you're taking a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering, you can actually, have your focus or have your concentration in aerospace engineering or in other engineering as you like. And fun fact, York University has space engineering. So that's even more focused. You're only going to be, not only, but mainly going to be studying about rockets. Right. So, for example, if I were to take a look at the courses that I'm studying at Concordia, so we learn about, first of all, about the airplane itself, like the parts of the airplane, how the different parts of the airplane interact, the airplane engines, how they work, and the mechanism, like how does an airplane stay in the air, right? How does it fly? It's supposed to fall down due to gravity, but it doesn't. And because an airplane is very heavy as well. So a lift is generated, and the wings of the airplanes, the streamlined shape of the body, the fuselage, each of the components of the airplane is actually designed in a very specific way, so that lift is generated and so that it can, fly at a very high speed and carry heavy weight. So you're going to be taught all those things, and also since it's aerospace, it's obviously related to rockets. You're going to learn about rockets too. You're going to learn about rocket engines, like how powerful those engines are, and a little bit about space. So when a rocket gets out of the Earth's atmosphere, how does it keep on going, or what trajectory it follows to get into space, right? So all those trajectories and lots of maths, lots of calculations as well. So yeah, you're gonna learn about space. You're gonna learn about airplanes. You're gonna learn about spacecrafts. It's a pretty cool subject in total. Yeah. So next, I wanted to just highlight a little bit about the eligibility requirements to get into a bachelor's degree, bachelor's program at Concordia University. Um, so here you can see, like for high school, it looks like we need A minus in overall, A minus in maths, and A minus in physics. Um, and remember, like these are the minimum requirements. So if they're like these universities are generally very competitive, so the higher grades you have, the better it is. And also, it's recommended for students to be involved in extracurricular activities. Um, so, for example, you might be doing some competitions at school. Um, then you might be volunteering at schools or volunteering at different organizations, and just doing some cool projects. You can showcase them in your SOP, which is, and then you might be able to get into your favorite program at your favorite university. Okay, so next we're going to look a little bit into the extracurricular activities themselves. So, extracurricular activities are not just important in high school, they're important after you get into university as well, not just in undergrad, even in graduate studies, right? So, it's very important for us to join different clubs. There are many engineering clubs, space clubs, science clubs, and also sports and other related clubs as well. So, for example, at Concordia, we have this huge club called Space Concordia, and there are many divisions: rocketry, spacecraft, robotics. So, what happens in rocketry is we are actually making an entire rocket. So, and it's the first rocket it's first student rocket in Canada that has been approved to launch. So it's gonna launch and it's gonna stay in space for like 3.5 seconds. It's an entire rocket that the students have been manufacturing. So from start to finish, we're doing everything, and we are collaborating with lots of companies, and we have funds from various companies, and of course we have approval from the government as well to launch. So that's what the rocketry is focusing on at the moment. And then we have spacecraft. That is also another division. So what we do is here we make satellites. There is something called CubeSat. There is a small satellite, it's probably around this size, but that satellite will be sent to space in a rocket of SpaceX. So we all know SpaceX, the rocket company or the spacecraft company of Elon Musk. So yeah, that's a very cool project too. So we are making that CubeSat, the small satellite, to be sent to space so that we can collect some data from space, right? So it's very interesting. And there are other clubs too, for example, robotics and space health. It's another important division. So because who knows, like after 20 years or 30 years, maybe human beings will start going to Mars, right? So we need to understand the biology there as well, and about the health aspects of space as well. Now, next, we're going to look at, I would say, the most important part, aside from studies and university, is the co-op program or the internship opportunities. Because uh, not just, you keep on learning all this theoretical knowledge is okay, you're doing projects, but what about the real industry? You need to get an idea about how things actually work in the real industry, right? So a lot of universities have this co-op program where there are certain work terms. Like, for example, in one of the semesters, you might be getting an opportunity to work at a company, an aerospace company, okay? And then you get to learn as an intern like how things actually work. And you also learn to be professional, right? So not just studies, you learn to implement those theoretical knowledge that you have in real life, right? So I would say co-op programs are very important, very helpful for students. And there are many volunteering activities too. So universities generally have many organizations inside the university, and sometimes they organize workshops, and you can volunteer to do those workshops. And for example, it could be teaching children in school about STEM activities, right? About space, science, engineering. You're teaching little kids about airplanes. So I personally went to this school where the kids were, they could barely speak, but we made paper airplanes of different sizes, and we were telling them to throw them in the air and see which one flies the highest, which one flies the highest altitude, which one has the greatest speed. And they were able to interact, they were able to understand some things, and they were able to respond to some of the questions. That is fascinating, right? So being able to, explain very hard complicated things in layman's term to children is very interesting, and it's a very important skill as well. And another thing that we can get involved in after getting into university is competitions. It's not just after getting into university, before getting into university as well. There are many competitions that happen inside university itself, or between universities, or competitions organized by companies, right? So nowadays, especially from this year, what's happening is the aerospace industry is booming all of a sudden. So they're encouraging young kids from high school, from college, from universities to participate in competitions, different kinds of competitions. So what happens is there are case studies, which means that they give some scenarios, like suppose this happens or that happens, how are you going to manage this, how are you going to manage that, right? And so a group of students get together, they make a team, and they propose a solution, and then they present it in front of company leaders, in front of executives. Okay, and they might even win the competitions, right? So that's very good for your resume, and also you get to, work with a group of people, probably that you have never met before, right? So teamwork and problem solving skills, presentation skills, all of those things. So there are many opportunities, I would say. We just need to keep an open eye and grab as many opportunities as we can, right? Okay, so next, just a few examples of some of the activities that I did. So here, this is the internship that I'm doing currently. It's an aerospace company, Pratt and Whitney, Canada. And this is my summer internship this year. And here you can see that I'm teaching coding at an elementary school. And guess what? They are really good coders. So there's a software called Scratch. It's for coding for kids. And these kids, they're pro. So I went there preparing some material, and they already knew everything. They were very excited. They opened up their laptops, and they were like, okay, they were creating different things, right? So they wanted this airplane to go from here to here, but they want the airplane to probably airplane or satellite to circle around the moon or something. So they were like programming it, programming complicated things even, right? So it's a very fun thing. It's a very, I would say, interesting way to teach young kids about coding, right? Okay. And here you can see our flag of Space Concordia. We were probably presenting um, our division to, I think, in one of the conferences. Yeah. And below you can see that this is an aerospace competition that took place this at the beginning of this year, and it was regarding Montreal Airport. So we had to design or change the infrastructure of the airport, right? So what happens is we want sustainable fuel, right? So we want to change, or I would say we want to use sustainable aviation fuel. So we were looking into that and we won the second prize. I had a very good team. Yeah, we worked really hard and it paid off. And even though we had lots of exams, like we had to submit the report on the day of our final exam. So it was pretty tough, but we were able to manage it. Yeah. It's important to, even though you're going to have like lots of work to do, you're going to be very stressed, but when you have a team, you're always encouraged, like, okay, let's still do it. Let's see what happens. Let's give our best shot, right? Never give up. Just keep on going. Okay, so lastly, I would like to talk a little bit about the future job aspects, right? So yeah, we get that. You study aerospace engineering, you have a degree, now what? Right? So let me tell you, all the opportunities are open for you, right? So you can join airplane companies like aviation companies. So companies that make civil airplanes, like these jets, the commercial jets that we ride, right? We can. There are many companies which make parts of these airplanes, so we can work at those companies, or we can join rocket companies. There are many rocket companies in Canada which are making parts of the rockets, right? So we can join those companies as well. There are satellite companies too. Like I said, um, there are companies which make different satellites and they launch them to space. And those companies are associated with NASA, they're associated with Canadian Space Agency. And lastly, of course, you can join Canadian Space Agency itself. So you're literally a rocket scientist, okay? So all the opportunities are open for you, and you can even switch industry if you want. I mean, there are some students who probably just want to explore some other industry, and they would go probably work in a different industry for some time, just to compare, just to have the feel, and probably come back again, right? So yeah, all the opportunities are open for us. And of course, if you want to be a pilot, that is also, you can also do that, because in aerospace companies, what I'm seeing, like at the company that I'm working at, there are many colleagues who are actually pilots, right? So you're not only learning about airplanes, you can actually fly an airplane. So that's a pretty cool thing to do. And whatever you're learning, you're actually seeing it in front of you. You're actually experiencing it. So that is a pretty cool stuff. And there has been a recent news. Um, I think in one of the companies, an employee was actually selected as an astronaut for the European Space Agency. Right. So maybe one day you can be an astronaut too, right? And remember, there are trainings to be an astronaut. So it's not like you have to be built physically different or something like that. There are always trainings for that. You just have to have the motivation. You have to have the passion to just keep on going, to keep on pursuing your dreams, right? So, yep. As long as you try your best, as long as you have your goal fixed and you're focused, you should be able to attain whatever you want to attain. Yep. With this, I would like to end my presentation today. Does any one of you have any question?
Yes, I think they will have questions, boys and girls. Get ready with your question. One question for you. So, for the what is the main requirement for this program to get in? Math and science and chemistry. Which one is more needed for that career?
Okay. I would just quickly go back to the slides. Okay, so here it looks like we need maths and physics. Maths and physics are the most important. Right. And as you can see, like we need one math from pre-calculus, calculus, or equivalent. Okay, and grade 12 or university preparatory physics. So physics and maths are the most important. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, you also mentioned here in grade 6 in school curriculum, there's a one subject, a flight, why the aeroplane doesn't fall, why is how is balancing, it's called flight, aerodynamics, float, drag, those things. And then we also do the aeroplane, they with the paper, they make the plane and then they throw it, and then some plane go far, and then it's depend on their design. So yes, from grade 6, students learn those basic information from here. So in related, let's see, some students, for me also, I was computer engineering, but I moved to teaching. So if a student start this program, okay, you're doing the master's program. So if they would like to, they think this field is not there for them, but they already finished 3 years or 4 years program. What could be related? You told me that this pilot program also there. Maybe it's called car industry or engineering. Those could be also related for that, because I see that your undergrad was mechanical engineering. How do you like to relate it, this one?
Well, I would say like mechanical engineering is actually an overview of a lot of industries. So, for example, oil industry, car industry, railway industry, even I would say building architecture industries in some ways. So I would say like you have a base of all the industries. So if you study mechanical engineering, you're gonna have like knowledge to get into any industry you like, right? So I would say lots of options will be open for you. But even if you study aerospace industry, aerospace engineering in undergrad, lots of options will be open for you too, because most of the courses are still common. So what the undergraduate level does is it prepares you as an engineer first, right? So you'll be able to code, you'll be able to do simulation, you'll be able to do drawings, all those things, right? So some of the students, for example, some of my friends who are studying masters in aerospace engineering, they're working as a computer engineer, right? So they're working probably at an aerospace company, but they're coding. So they're technically working as a computer engineer. So all these are interconnected. So if you study mechanical engineering or aerospace industry engineering, you're going to have lots of opportunities open for you.
Very good. Question goes. So you can get ready with your question, or you can write also there. I have one more question about. I think you also you got some kind of your pilot certification, and you already did some kind of training. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah, of course. So there are flight schools here, and there are different levels that and different steps that you need to complete to be able to actually become an airline pilot, right? So I'm completing the first step, which is the private pilot license. That means that I am eligible to fly small planes, like a plane with 4 seats, a plane with 6 seats, but not a plane with like 100 seats, not a commercial jet yet. But if anyone wants to continue the program, like if I wanted to, I can still continue the program and then become an airline pilot as well. Yeah.
Excellent. Brave woman. Okay. So Rishi, if you have any question, or now floor is open.
So why do you think someone should be an aerospace engineer?
Well, firstly, I would not say someone should be, but if someone wants to, because it's very cool. If you start studying, you're going to learn about things that almost no one knows about, right? People see like planes are in the sky. People see that there are spacecrafts that go to space. People are going to the moon, even, right? But you don't know how it works, how they're going to space, why the plane is flying, why are these complicated things happening, right? So once you study it, you'll feel like you know so much more, and you'll be much more interested to to get into those industry and contribute to the industry. Space itself is fascinating. Almost every child when they always want to be an astronaut, right? But what happens to that dream? Like as you grow up, why do you stop wanting to be an astronaut? Maybe if you hold on to that dream and if you pursue it, strategically, and maybe one day you might end up in space.
Great.
Hi, my name is Rita. I have a question. How much does an aerospace engineer make?
Then yes, Ammu, increase the salary, then decide to come. Otherwise, okay.
Well, that is a very good question. So what happens is, I would just tell you the truth. The engineers in the aerospace industry, they are more highly paid than any other engineers in any other industry. Okay, so if you're an intern, rest assured that you're getting paid more than other interns in other industries. Okay, so yeah, our rough idea would be 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 per year when you have worked for for 1 or 2 years, 2 to 3 years. You can go to that range, obviously. Yeah.
Okay, Rida, I think did you make your, let's see, you're going to search more or you make your mind to go this career?
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, now she's happy. Which grade? Would you like to introduce yourself also? Is it Rida, right?
I'm grade 4.
Oh,
Oh.
another grade 1 also there. Mashallah.
Oh.
They will go for, yes. Sister Teena is here. They are the role model. Inshallah, she'll come with her own little plane one day. And
Oh.
yes, and then she'll motivate you girls to
Yes.
become the aerospace engineer, inshallah.
Inshallah. Yeah, we encourage young kids to start getting interested, and it's very amazing. Like a grade 4, grade 1, and you guys are already into aerospace. That is that is very cool.
Teena, one more question from my side about the volunteer or volunteer options, or there's a club. In Kingston, when I was a student there at Queen's University, we used to run one program called Robotics Club. So from grade 1 to grade 12 students, they used to come, and then some university students, they usually go to the school on the club to train them, to show them, to organize them, to build a team building skills, and then robotics coding. Even even grade 1, they also come and then they give some kind of job. Is the same thing in the space club in your university? Did you run the same thing or that?
Yes, we do. In fact, in our university, as I mentioned, there is this a huge club called Space Concordia. So
Okay.
volunteers from Space Concordia, we go to different schools, young kids, and we help them build things that they want. So very recently, I went to one of the schools, and they were building small robots. Right, you were right, line following robots, and so they were building some. There was a robot which can throw basketballs, right? They wanted to make that, and there were kids of all ages there, and they were participating in a competition, so they wanted some knowledge from university students, some guidance. So we went there, we showed them some things, we gave them some instructions, and we played with them, right? We played with the knowledge, and like you said, team building skills and presentation skills, because it's very important to be able to present. As engineers, we know a lot of stuff, but we should also be very good at presenting what we know. So that too, yeah.
Yes, excellent. Yes, we have also in University of Calgary, there is a science department. The students usually come and then they teach about the a little bit biology, about the different parts of body, how does it work. So yeah, they get the experience from it's called the Big Brother, Big Sisters organization, Science Club. Very good. So you have that one also there. Any more question from?
What should you expect when you're learning aerospace engineering?
Well, in undergrad, it's going to be exciting, but it's going to be pretty hard too. There are going to be lots of mathematical problems, but there are going to be interesting courses too. So you're going to understand a lot of things. But the hard part is coming back home, trying to solve all those mathematical problems, practicing them, right? So it will be intensive since undergraduate degrees are 4 years, right? So you have to keep on working at your skills for 4 years. It's a very long time, but there are going to be lots of fun activities too. So I would say we need to we should expect mathematical problems, a lot of mathematical problems, lots of fun too, lots of knowledge, and lots of lab work as well. There are many projects, many lab works. Yeah.
Yeah, I have some students who are in medicine. They used to do lots of volunteer work with us. Now they are very busy. They cannot manage their time with their studies, their research, their meeting. So do you think this is also like the medicine program is too complicated and then need a lot of time for studies, or?
Well, of course, medicine is a completely entirely different thing, and it requires, I would say, much more time in studies. But engineering in general is not that intensive as medical, right? As medicine. So I would not say like you're not going to have any time, you're not going to have any life. No, that's not going to be it. There are going to be sleepless nights when you are completing your assignments, you're studying for your finals, you're writing your lab reports, but you're going to have time for entertainment too. And you're going to have time for vacations, competitions, volunteering. You will still have a time, and you'll have your life too.
Excellent. Yes.
Teena, I have a question for you.
Mhm.
So it looks like you have a well-rounded life so far. You have done mechanical engineering. Now you're a student. You have done a lot of volunteering, and also you are a pilot. Also, we are so proud of you. But one thing you also mentioned about some sleepless nights, and then doing the project during your exam day. So how do you manage your time? If you can let us know, at least for us, we also want to know, and also for the kids to be helpful.
Mhm. Well, there's, I would say, certain time management skills. Uh, for example, I would say like every half an hour you study. If you take like a 5-minute break, that's supposed to be enough. So if you take like a 5-minute break, and that break is intensive, like you do something that you really enjoy in those 5 minutes, your brain is supposed to be refreshed. So after 5 minutes, you're supposed to be able to get into work for another half an hour, right? So what we students do, we break down our day into sections, right? We take breaks and we plan those breaks, right? So that's what we do. And of course, we have some, I would say, some free days where we don't do anything, we just procrastinate. That's also there. But for time management, yes, that is a thing. And waking up early is always a good thing. Whenever you wake up early, you can get lots of work done compared to waking up late. So sleep management, sleep management, and also eating habits. eating good things, right? Not just eating junk food, eating healthy is important too. And in university, what happens is most of the universities have gyms, you know. So what people do is students, they work out a little bit, or even if you don't go to the gym, you probably go out and take a walk, right? So keeping yourself healthy as well, that I would say that increases your energy. So that helps in time management too.
Thank you. One other question. You mentioned about like mechanical engineering and aerospace engineering. Mechanical engineering, doing bachelor's, and then focusing on a master's level in aerospace engineering. So what do you think, from your opinion, is somebody who has aspirations in aerospace, should they do the aerospace engineering from the bachelor's level, or follow something similar that what you have done, doing bachelor's in mechanical and then move into aerospace in the postgraduate level?
Well, I would say it depends, because studying masters may not be worth it for some people, because if you're studying masters, it's technically taking 6 years, right? So maybe probably the best possible scenario would be to study in mechanical engineering, but with an aerospace concentration, because most of the courses in mechanical engineering and aerospace engineering are the same, right? So there is, some of the courses are different. So we are studying essentially the same mechanism. Everything has the same mechanism. So most of the mathematical courses, most of the theoretical courses are the same. Just a few courses are different. For example, the car parts and the airplane parts, those are different. The car engines and airplane engines are a bit different, not just entirely different, a bit different. So maybe doing a mechanical engineering degree in your undergrad with an aerospace concentration could be an ideal scenario if someone doesn't want to spend 6 years in education.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hi, Teena.
Hi.
My name's Sharika. I'm a medical student. I was just listening next to my little brother. I don't have a question per se, but I just wanted to say thank you so much for like sharing your experience. I think because the University of Calgary doesn't have like an aerospace program, a lot of people here don't get any exposure to this field. And so just thank you so much for sharing. I think everything you said was really cool.
Thank you so much for listening.
Teena, yes, Sharika is another role model like you. She's now medical student, I think second year. She did a lot of volunteer work, and then she's also very, very extraordinary.
Yeah.
And then yes, role model for us.
Mhm. Yeah, it's cool to have engineers. It's cool to have doctors or people in the medical world as well, right? All these cool things. Yeah.
So any more question or concern? Or maybe in another session next year, we can do one more session when Teena start working.
Do you have a lot of other, a few more minutes?
Yes, yeah, we can go. Fine.
Teena, can you also give us a little bit more about your volunteering experience? I know that you mentioned about something. What did you like most about your volunteering? If you can give us a little bit more about that, that will be good.
So I would say, as engineers, we need to work on our presentation skills. So there are many students who have stage fright, and a lot of us have stage fright, right? So when we go to different schools, we do not know any of them, right? Even though they are kids, still some of us might have stage fright. So we go there, we present something that we already know. I would say that helps us build our presentation skills. And that helps us build our teaching skills too, because like I said, when you're trying to explain something very complicated, because an engine is very complicated, but you're teaching a very complicated thing to a child. So how do you simplify it? When you're trying to simplify it, you will see like maybe your understanding gets clearer. And so I would say you find yourself having a deeper knowledge in the thing that you're actually teaching the children, and they have interesting questions. So you also understand, like you start to understand things from other people's perspective, not from your perspective, right? Yeah, I would say that was an incredible thing. And also interacting with people of all ages, and encouraging them. That is also a thing. Like we are learning. I understand, like we're all learning and we're knowing things, but giving back to the society, that is important too, right? Just sharing the knowledge itself.
Okay, Amma, wonderful. Thank you very much, Amma, from Montreal. You're here for our Calgary parents, for the children and youth. Inshallah, we'll remember you and we pray for your success